We are back.
From the Rivers property in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
This is the final table.
I was supposed to go broke on that hand, honey. Except I forgot one thing. I can dodge bullets, baby.
Please, one time. Come on, baby.
One bet every week to see who's going to win, and there are some pretty grave consequences. So go ahead and set the terms.
No, there's no way he can set the terms.
I'm actually really good at loading my dishwasher, but I don't really even see why we need to watch this.
Oh my God, I'm having a tough time, guys.
Hello and welcome to the final table, the poker show where each of the hosts picks a player at random, and when that player busts out, someone ends up with egg on his face. In some cases, quite literally.
Oh.
And I need to write some new material, apparently. My name is Joe Stapleton. These two chuckleheads sitting next to me are Antonio Sfondiari and Phil Hellmuth Jr. We've got a brand new tournament this week from the Rivers Resort. Phil, you've been there.
Well, you set that up nicely. I did win the main event there, which was pretty nice about a year and a half ago. I didn't go back to defend, but I did win it, and it was pretty sweet. I was emceeing the whole way and won. I MC, I play, I win. Bring it.
The tournament wasn't televised, but somehow we still got
I would think that the crew for every TV network would come in knowing that Phil Hellmuth was about to win another tournament because their ratings are going to be through the roof.
Well, we do have our tournament to get to. Let's learn some nearly completely irrelevant facts about the players at the final table. First up, Justin Daly. Justin's favorite movie is The Shawshank Redemption, Get Busy Living. His favorite TV show is The Walking Dead, or Get Busy Dying. And he says if it's not on the internet, he doesn't read it, which means he hasn't read Phil's book. Next up, Brian Bartek. He was once gored by a bull. He eats enough fish to rival the mercury levels of Jeremy Piven getting his temperature taken, and he's addicted to EDM. Up next, Michael Reno. Sitting right next to Johnny Vegas and Tommy Salt Lake City. He's a roofer, a father of three, and I'm told he has hot dog breath right now. This man is Larry Pileggi. He's a professor at Carnegie Mellon. Fancy. He also loves club soda, kale, and gas station eggs. You know, professory stuff. And finally, it's Richard Feinberg. He's a class action lawyer. Objection overruled. And apparently he likes cheese, so he's got to be a huge fan of my comedy.
Correct.
All right, my little Lannisters and Targaryens, it's time for the snap call, AKA who do we think is going to go the distance this week? Antonio, you were the big winner last week. You choose first.
Richard Feinberg. Never bet against the law, and my man knows the law.
Richard is the attorney at the table. Phil, your choice?
I love Justin Daly. I don't like the fact that he only reads stuff from the internet that works against us, but I like a man that can get busy living or get busy dying at the poker table.
If he wins, Phil's going to make him read his book in real paper. My choice, the EDM lover, Brian Bartek, because I have a feeling he's going to use his unce time. Let's just go to the chip counts. And would you look at that? It's Stapes with the statistical advantage for right now. Phil's fella in not such bad shape, but Antonio's horse, Richard Feinberg, is the shortest stack, so pretty soon he is going to probably put the fin in Feinberg. So let's take a peek at what punishment everybody but me is probably going to endure.
Crackers.
That's right. It's the Saltines Challenge. Eat 6 saltine crackers in less than a minute. It's virtually impossible to do without lubrication, which is why you will have your choice of sauces. Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce. Boys, dissect.
Well, I'm definitely choosing the Worcester, whatever it is, the Worcestershire sauce. I think Antonio's going to do this.
Worcestershire sauce.
I think he's going to do the same.
I can already feel the dryness in my mouth. Now, do I have to take it down or just have it all in my mouth?
No, you gotta consume it. It's gotta be inside.
And it's either thick, gooey hot sauce or the Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah, and by the way, if you don't do it, you've got to complete the Salt Ice Challenge, which apparently is this thing that can actually take your limbs off. So hopefully we get it down. You guys have both chosen the Worcestershire sauce. I'm just gonna give the hot sauce a little bit of a taste and see if I might go for this one if it ends up being me. It's actually quite hot. The hot sauce is quite hot. I too will be choosing the Worcestershire sauce. let's get to the poker. Dave and Maria, go ahead, and some milk for me, please.
Hello and welcome to the final table at Rivers Pittsburgh. David Tuckman alongside Maria Ho. Maria, I still can't get over
How much are you paying y'all?
the egg in Phil Hellmuth's face from last week.
That's enough.
It was nothing short of amazing. I'm sure everybody out there feels the same way.
We are in Pittsburgh here. Brian Bartek is our chip leader. Action is going to fold around to Michael Reno. He spies an ace-jack of hearts. You imagine that's good enough to raise. Blinds are 15,000, 30,000.
75,000.
You might notice the lovely lady next to Larry Pileggi. Sometimes poker players require assistance, and she's there to help him. Pileggi, by the way, a professor at Carnegie Mellon University.
Call.
And Daly is going to call with threes.
Simple fold.
So here we go, and the flop is ace jack. No biggie.
This is one of those spots if you're Daly. If you peel once and you catch a three, you could be in a world of hurt. Reno is going to try to set the trap.
Well, he was hoping that Daly would catch up here on the turn, but as we could see, this isn't a really great board for Daly, but he is going to try to take a shot at the pot.
He's got a ton of chips. Try to put a little bit of pressure on Reno.
And I would imagine if Reno checked back the flop, he is just going to call here on the turn. There are quite a few draws out there, so he knows that if he's lucky, Daly could be drawing live.
To a hand that he thinks is live, at least.
Yes, exactly. Oh, it's going to take a little while before he puts the chips in the pot, as if he has a decision.
I mean, if you're in Daly's spot, you might put Reno on something like a jack or maybe tens or queens or something like that, right?
Yeah, it definitely looks like Reno has kind of a capped range here, so we'll see if Daly's willing to go after it here on the river.
Daly in the Pittsburgh Pirates hat.
People can barrel once, sometimes people can barrel twice, but not many people can barrel 3 times.
Well, good for Daly that he checks. This is obviously going to be a Reno bet and a Daly fold. At least that's what you'd imagine would be the case. Daly, by the way, his favorite combo, beef jerky with a Captain and Coke, which to me sounds really good. I would love some beef jerky and a Captain and Coke. PA? Somebody? Derek? Can I get that?
Sounds like Reno's kind of a cheap date.
This is one of those long pauses where we know exactly what's going to happen, but might be some drama at the table.
I was going to say, I think my favorite combo is probably Flaming Hot Cheetos and vodka soda, so I think that makes me a cheap date, too.
You're my kind of girl. And I'm not hitting on you again. I'm just saying you're my kind of girl. I don't want it to get awkward.
I gave you that awkward silence just 'cause.
What's that cab fare? I fold. You fold if I shove?
I don't want to call anybody out except for Justin on this.
Yeah.
Be sure and put your cards side by side, Justin.
Oh, okay. I guess I should have. Okay, that's no problem. There you go, everybody. See, now they don't know what I had last hand, so I could have had pocket tens.
You didn't fold 10s full, please. With 2 million, you folded 10s full.
Sometimes I'm tight. Sometimes.
Daly's going to open here from the button with ace-9 offsuit.
5,000.
Very reasonable open.
Our big stack, Brian Bartek, gets rid of it in the small blinds. But Finberg, wearing the Pittsburgh Penguins hat, wants to play. And that's why. King, queen.
It always fascinates me that guys know so much about sports and sports logos that you just knew. I mean, I was like, does it say Pittsburgh Penguins on there? I was like, no, of course it doesn't. You're a guy. Flop is king, queen, 7. Looks like Finberg has flopped 2 pair.
This is my trying to come up with something witty response, and I can't come up with anything. So we just continue on. Top 2 pair for Finberg, as you say. Daly with nothing, but...
He's going to let Daly bet at it, though. I wouldn't be surprised to see a check raise here from Finberg. I think the board is somewhat draw heavy. I think Finberg wants to make sure he doesn't lose any action on certain turn cards or river cards, and also get his opponent to maybe pay a little bit extra if he is on a draw.
Nice flop.
I don't like to judge a book by its cover, but if you're playing against a guy that looks like Finberg, right? Is he the kind of guy that you would think that would make a big semi-bluff? And he moves all in. Actually, he only has 739,000.
Well, I figured I'll give him some, then
And Daly quickly folds. But back to my question.
I don't like
Do you
it.
think
I like
Finberg looks like the kind of guy that would semi-bluff with a big draw?
Answer your question, I think that when a guy like Finberg check raises all in, it's probably a bit stronger than just your average semi-bluff spot.
90?
Don't touch that remote. More final table action after this. Closed captioning is brought to you as a public service by the Final Table. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. David Tuckman, Maria Ho here. 5 players still remain.
River, though, it gets interesting.
Yeah, for you.
Bartek folding once again. Bartek, by the way, from Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania. Apparently an EDM junkie.
Really?
I didn't even know what EDM stood for.
I was just going to say, I bet you don't know what EDM
I didn't even
stands
know
for.
what it stood for. It was so sad. I felt so old.
You are so old.
That seems reasonable, I'll call.
Raise from Pelegi.
And I like that. I like that he's going to come in from the small blind with a hand like 10-5 suited, you know, and say, I'm going to go ahead and raise it up. Let's see what you want to do with your 8-6 of diamonds.
Queen high flop. No suits. Just check, check.
I don't actually mind that Pelegi's going to check that flop because I think a lot of hands that Daly calls a raise pre-flop with actually smashes that range, or, you know, he has some kind of draw like 10-9.
I agree with you. I don't really like leading out on this turn, though, if I'm Pelegi.
Yeah, I don't think he's repping much after he checks the flop. I think he would check a lot of the turn here once it pairs the board. You know, any ace highs he would check again.
Daly just calls with the flush draw. Doesn't hit, and instead, Pelegi pairs his 10. And Pelegi just moved all in.
You know,
Wow.
Pelegi pairs his 10 on the river, and I would imagine he's turning it into a bluff if he does shove there.
I mean, he's never getting a queen to fold.
He shouldn't. A queen probably shouldn't be folding as played, but I don't know. I might have folded a queen. I'm like, whoa, wow.
Queen, not queen jack.
I mean,
I
this
guess
guy-
you have it.
There's never said.
One game is too
I'll say, this guy is a professor at Carnegie Mellon University. Very, very successful in the Pittsburgh scene, playing poker there. Routinely finishes
Girl power,
in
I
the top
get it,
3
all right.
of tournaments over there. So he's doing something right.
Just the jack.
Yeah, let's not question what
Yeah.
he's doing. Are you finishing in top 3 in tournaments?
You know what?
All the, yeah.
I already throw myself under the bus, and you're like, kick
Not too bad. You know, my wife cuts the grass. We're a team, all right?
That's interesting. It looks like this is limped pot, even though Daly has ace-queen here, and now Finberg has the option with jacks. I'm assuming he is going to raise, though.
limping is for the weak.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, well, I imagine when he limps in on the button with a hand as big as ace-queen, he is trying to back raise, which he does here. But Finberg actually does have a big hand. It's not like he was trying to squeeze without a good hand, and it might just go all in here.
This is one of those weird situations because both players, well, Daly especially, played this hand in an unconventional manner, that both hands are kind of under-repped.
Oh, absolutely.
A battle of the Pittsburgh sports teams. For the record, both the Pirates and the Penguins are good.
I mean, for all I know, I don't know which one's which.
The Pirates play football. The Penguins play soccer.
I just meant which hat belongs to which. I know that.
Well, the Penguins is the one with the penguin on it. Genius.
Oh, yeah, you want to make fun of me about sports stuff. Good one.
It's a penguin on the hat. Which one's the Penguins?
Wait, hold on. Can you believe that the Penguins folded the Jacks pre, though?
I can't believe you didn't know which hat was the Penguins. A lot of sports, which brings me to the trivia question of the week. Which Olympic athlete made a splash when he showed up at the World Series of Poker in 2013 to play various big events?
I
know you know.
More
final table?
I'm not running very good right
after
now,
this.
apparently.
Welcome back to the final table. David Tuckman, Maria Ho here in Rivers, Pittsburgh. And the answer to the trivia question is...
Michael Phelps!
I bet you will.
Seriously? You're like a petulant child.
I've been holding that in since the last break.
Yes, it is Michael Phelps.
What do I win?
You get a secret surprise, okay? Just go through that door. Yes, that one. Go ahead, just keep
The
walking.
one that says exit?
Yeah, that's not... trust me, it's fine. And just keep walking. Pluggy's gonna raise the 70, the ace-jack offsuit.
$210.
And Daly makes it 210. I tell you, something about Daly's play, he is the most unconventional player we have seen.
Yeah, he's definitely, limping in when normally other people would raise, and sometimes maybe he's 3-betting when people might flat. But in this spot, it's a blind versus blind confrontation, ace-jack versus eights. Pretty standard here. Just a flip for Pileggi's tournament life.
Yeah, this is about a 29 big blind shove, and there it is, top set for Daly. Pileggi drawing really thin, needs runner.
Oh,
pot is 1.7 million.
That's not fair. Queen.
Jack means he's drawing dead. Larry Pileggi, the Carnegie Mellon professor, has been eliminated in 5th place. He'll earn himself $26,500. Unfortunately for him, this journey is over.
It was pretty unavoidable there, and unfortunately, he was just on the wrong side of the coin flip this time.
I guess at some point you're going to flop a set with him, right?
I'm getting.
We touched on Daly's unconventional play. I think it's interesting that that's Helmuth's pick, because many have said that Helmuth, although he has 14 World Series of Poker bracelets, plays about as unconventional as anybody.
Yeah, and considering Phil didn't know that about Daly before he picked him, maybe they're just spirit animals here. He could feel it.
If we get heads up, you want to stay right next to each other?
Yeah.
Just be like...
Reno raises to 60,000 with kings.
I want to look
just 60. Only 60.
That's it. That's... I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Bartek's going to call here with ace-7 offsuit.
Bartek, by the way,
Are we going to get sunglasses?
was gored by a bull.
I think we are.
As far as I'm concerned, Pixar didn't happen.
So Bartek has the 7 of diamonds in his hand, but Reno obviously has kings with the king of diamonds.
Yeah, you gotta love this flop if you're Reno. It's one of those things where, like, even if somehow your opponent did flop a set, you've got 11 outs.
Yeah, you're not really afraid of many turn cards.
Cue the black ace. Boom! Look at that! I swear I never saw that. I swear I never saw that.
I don't know. You've been doing a lot of prep for these.
I really didn't see that. I just called it.
Well, it does go check on the turn, and I think Bartek might try to go for a value bet here.
That is spooky.
And as played, I think Reno might call on the river. It does look like Bartek could have a busted flush draw, but it is likely Bartek could have had the ace of diamonds in his hand as well.
Oh, Reno's going to pay him off. Can you read anything into the sizing? I mean, it was kind of a small bet. He bet 115 into like 300 and change. Looks like a value-ish bet.
Yeah, it does. But at the same time, when you think about it from a pure math standpoint, you only really have to be right 1 in 5 times there to make your call correct. And if you think Bartek is bluffing there 20% of the time, then you can't really fold.
Time for us to pay some bills, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're taking a visit to the goat farm.
Possible.
Closed captioning is brought to you as a public service by the Final Table.
All right, it's chip count time. 4 players remain, and Brian Bartek, the EDM freak, is laying down some pretty sick beats. Boom. Nailed it. Antonio, somehow your guy, no longer in last place. How do you feel about that?
I love it because I don't want to eat those saltine crackers, I'll tell you that.
And even worse than the saltine crackers is the salt ice challenge. It'll leave a bruise on your arm for like 2 weeks, they tell me.
Poor baby, a little bruise on your arm? Aw, Philly boy.
It really weirds me out when Antonio does the baby voice. It makes me want to call him mommy. You guys may have noticed that Larry Pileggi, his name is gone off the chip count list, which leads me to believe he is going to feature heavily on the goat farm, and especially because we all just saw it a few minutes ago. Roll the tape! So this is going to be a blind-on-blind battle. Pileggi, first to act, raises to 70K.
I know you like the aggression before the flop with 10-5, Antonio.
Well, in the small blind, you only have to get one hand to fold, right? So why not? There's chips out there. You got to fight.
Yeah.
But he got 0 hands to fold as Daly defends his big blind. 8-6 of diamonds. Flop is queen, jack, deuce, rainbow.
So far, pretty standard from both players. That's a clear defending position to a single raise.
Check, check. Diamond draw picked up for Daly on the turn.
No, I like this. I think that Larry's going to bet out here with 10 high.
Yes, he does. He has a delayed continuation bet, but it's for 70K. You like the sizing too, Phil?
I do. I think it's fine. Now he gets called very quickly, so I don't think he would have called that quickly with the queen or jack.
Antonio?
So far, I'm with Phil on everything.
River card is a 10, so Pileggi, River's the best hand, and he jams the river, getting a quick fold.
Horrendous play. First of all, like, number one, if you hit the 10, it's likely to be good. Check and let the other guy bluff. But also, if you're going to jam, the only hand that calls you
is a better hand.
Is going to bust you.
Terrible bet.
Terrible
What
bet.
is he trying to do? Get a queen to fold? The guy checked back the flop. He probably doesn't have a queen, right? So, and all bluffs don't put a chip in the pot.
And
so.
you got a young, aggressive player on your left. He might bluff off a bunch of money, and then maybe this next hand doesn't even come up.
This is where we're going to see the end of Larry Pileggi. Ace-Jack versus 2 8s. Things escalate very quickly, and we are off to the races.
Raise, re-raise, all in. I don't necessarily like this. Antonio likes this. He thinks it's standard. I would have just maybe called with the 8s. Oh, but...
Well, when you know that's going to be the flop, I would just call 2.
Yeah.
Where is Jon Stewart? Because this is the Daily Show.
really?
Larry Pileggi, the guy who loves The Walking Dead, drawing dead on the turn.
Sometimes at a final table when you're getting deep and the money escalates so much, I like to give myself more lives. No one else in the world agrees with me.
That's not true. I agree with you. I don't always want to put it all in with pocket 8s. It really depends on the chip stacks and.
Only every time when the 8 is coming on the flop. That's all the time we've got for the Goat Farm this week. Back to you, David Maria.
Thank you, Joe. Maria Ho, David Tuckman here. Maria, do you know that Michael Reno's favorite all-time band? And we've had some interesting favorite bands throughout the final table. The Bee Gees.
Oh, I like the Bee Gees.
And I can't fold the river.
Staying alive, staying alive. Right, that's good. Good job. Button is in front of Finberg, wearing the Penguins hat. Blinds still 15,000, 30,000. Action folds around to the blinds. Kings for everybody, it seems like.
75.
Reno's definitely had it once before here, and especially from the small blind, great spot to pick it up. And Daly's just going to put them all in here with King Jack offsuit.
That's about a 21 big blind shove.
Supposed to have kings there.
I don't know if I really love
tens
that.
at
I
least.
think I would have just called if I were him.
Well, unfortunately for him, he shoved. Obviously, Reno
Jack.
happy to get it in, and Daly is drawing dead. Reno is going to double up to 1.3 million chips.
Yeah, I think with, 20 bigs effective, I definitely think Daly could have just peeled King Jack against that stack size. I think it's a little bit ambitious to think that when you jam with King Jack offsuit that you're going to get called by worse. And you have position after the flop as well, so plenty of reasons to just play post.
Yeah, Reno's Kings,
King Jack.
helping him stay alive.
Can't believe he called kings.
You see what I did there?
I know, but I never like to give you any credit because you just think you're so funny already.
643. Good image. It's mine.
Reno in the big blind. Action is folded around to the blinds.
Was it? Okay. I'm an honest guy.
75.
75. I don't know.
Finberg makes it 75,000. Reno calls.
That's what they call me.
5-3 offsuit. He's like, you know what? This is how I feel about your post-flop game, Finberg.
How often do you fold your big blind when the small blind opens?
I mean, not that often.
Look at this. He's nearly flopped the nuts. He's got a pair of threes.
Finberg has an open-ended straight draw, though, so of course he's going to lead out here.
Finberg, without a pair with just 10 high, is actually a favorite right now. You can see the percentages in the bottom left corner of your screen.
He's got 2 overs, a queen, or a 7 to make his hand.
Reno's not calling pre-flop with 5-3, flopping a pair and then folding. And in fact, he's raising.
Yeah, he decides he wants to be the aggressor in this hand now. Not sure if he's... I would like to assume that he is raising here, kind of as a bluff, because certainly not a lot of value here with bottom pair.
Finberg's not going anywhere. Finberg calls, and this pot now over 500,000 chips as it starts to balloon up. Turns the deuce of clubs. One of the few safeguards for Reno.
Yeah, and you know, there's not a ton of draws out there on the flop, so I think Reno might check back here.
He does check back. Finberg misses. I mean, it's amazing when you think about it. A 7, a 9, and a 10, a queen. So many cards could have come off for him to win the hands. But a deuce on the turn and a 4 on the river. Now he's going to lead out and bluff.
I like this, actually. I mean, I think Reno showed a lot of weakness. His raise on the flop didn't make a whole lot of sense to Finberg, and Finberg knows he probably can't win here on Showdown.
Well, Reno's cutting out his chips. He's got to think about this one. We could be here for a while. And you know what? This is the perfect time, as we do in every show, for the tank of the day.
No.
You love this. I know you are
don't.
starting to own it.
I don't like it.
You do. Okay?
I'm not gonna like
I
it.
found this a fantastic video. This is a how-to video on how to load and run your dishwasher. Okay?
If you don't have
This is so
this little
ridiculous.
thing here,
You know what?
you've got
Nobody
to load
needs
all
to see
these
this.
things.
This is an underrated skill.
This
If you
way,
love the
and
environment,
this
you know
wall
that efficiently
empty.
loading your
So if
dishwasher
the
can
water
save
from here
hundreds. It can save
transfers
water.
there, and even if you
What a call! Look at that!
you're only going to get
Wow.
very little
He made the
things
call. You know what he's
if you
doing?
have a
Yeah! He's excited. Yeah! Loves it. Wow, what a call with a pair of threes, huh?
It's a pretty good call. I mean, I think his sizing was a little bit on the small side, but still nothing to take away from Reno.
How do
It's a
you
good
make the
call.
moves on me?
With that, why don't we take a break? Back in a few. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. Maria Ho, David Tuckman. Here we're playing four-handed. First place, $101,000.
That's pretty much what I've been getting at.
All three of our co-hosts' picks are still in.
Yeah, but you've been calling with them.
No, I'm raising it.
But Richard Finberg, Antonio's pick, kind of short.
70,000.
As if Antonio hasn't had enough punishment throughout the past few places we've been to.
Well, he did avoid the eggs from last
I
time.
have to.
It's true.
Have to defend.
A raise from Reno.
Understand, sir.
Bartek's going to call.
Good luck to me. I can't beat you, so good luck to me. I can't beat
You're not allowed to wish good luck to
Yeah, what?
yourself.
Nope.
I
Good
think
luck.
you are allowed to wish yourself good luck, actually.
I was going to ask you. I don't know. All jacks out there.
I don't consider that bad poker etiquette.
Good luck to me.
Yeah.
Bad luck to you.
I don't know what you're thinking.
No, just probably stop at the good luck to me part.
Right.
Yeah, we both have
Check,
cards.
check. Reno does not put a continuation bet out there. Picks up a straight draw. Queen high, still the best hand.
Looks like Bartek is thinking about it, but talks himself out of it in his head.
I feel like it's pretty good check in the sense like you're not going to get ace highs to fold.
Right.
And Bartek actually backs into the best of it.
And now I think he should feel pretty good about putting a little value bet out there.
Really kind of peculiar way to play this hand if you're Reno, because when you check back that flop, you'd think the worst hand he would have would be an ace high.
Yeah, I think Reno just doesn't feel like queen high there after, the flush also got there on the river is good enough to call with.
Bartek, by the way, favorite junk food? Nacho cheese Doritos.
We have similar tastes in here.
Finberg is all in with ace queen. Once again, that's Antonio's guy.
Yeah, he just has about 6 big blinds here. Obviously, ace queen is a really great hand to pick up with that stack size.
Daly calls with king 6.
Yeah, I don't know. He's in for 1 big blind, obviously, but I guess it just depends on what he thinks Finberg's shoving range is there. I guess, Finberg would shove with queen jack, those type of hands.
You're supposed to have I wish you had jack.
Pot's just a little bit over 500,000 chips. Finberg ahead. Not anymore, though. There's a pair of 6s for Daly. Daly continues to stay ahead. Finberg needs an ace or a queen on the river, or he will be out. And that's it. Deuce of spades on the river. And Finberg, Richard Finberg, the lawyer, is gone in 4th place. He takes home $30,650. But more importantly, it is time for Antonio Esfandiari to pay the piper. Joe, take it away.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Richard Feinberg, who is finally out, which means Antonio Esfandiari has to complete the saltine challenge.
Typical. Pretty standard.
Now, Antonio, you know that eating 6 dry saltines without any sort of liquid at all is actually impossible.
I already feel the dryness, the cotton mouth in my mouth.
You're going to be pummeling the Worcestershire sauce like.
How come nobody can say it? How do we say it? Do you know how to say it correctly?
Luckily, that's not the bet, but Worcestershire sauce is something I can pronounce, and that's why I'm sitting here in the middle. I should let you know, though, Antonio, if you don't do it, then you have to do the salt ice challenge on your arm for a minute. And if you guys don't know what this is, it's a pretty I think they use it for removing limbs, like surgically. So you're gonna want to get these down.
I'm gonna do my best.
You're going Worcestershire?
Give me the Worcestershire.
Hey, you said it. Good job, buddy.
I can't spell it, but maybe I can say it.
We don't want to lose that. Weak wrists, I guess.
This is really happening?
Why are you taking your jacket off?
I want to be free for movement. The jacket, I feel like, will slow me down. I only have 1 minute, right?
All right,
I can spell it, but I can't say it.
What is your initial strategy going to be here? Are you going to dip first? Are you going to go dry first? Have you got a plan?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
Think about these things, buddy.
I think dip.
He's going to start with a dip. Now, the second that first cracker touches your lips, that's when I'm going to start the timer.
Gosh, that's.
And by me, I mean him. He's going to start the timer.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
We're ready. He's going to dip the whole cracker in. All right, in 3,
That's a good strategy.
Go! It's not too disgusting.
that was a good
Yes, it is.
strategy.
He does not like Worcestershire
Oh,
sauce,
remember
turns
when he
out.
threw up on the last show?
Oh my God. That is disgusting.
How much time's left? How much time's left?
Absolutely disgusting.
40 seconds? You're already a third of the way done with your time. He's not going to do it. He's not going to make it.
He's trying to bring me to a very nice sushi restaurant later, Antonio is.
I don't think they're going to like it. Whoa! You know what? I'm going to 30 seconds left.
Is it possible?
I'm
We'll
going
give an
to
extension. I'm going to give you an extra 10 seconds.
I'm going to not count the crumbs you spit out. That's going to be fine. We'll let that
He gets
slide.
an extra 10 seconds.
20 seconds. He's got 2 crackers to go. You're going to need. You haven't been swallowing, have you?
No.
No, he's just been. 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, you were close, not really. 2.
I love it. Antonio and I have to come at each other in these things. So.
All right, we're going to find a napkin for Antonio in a second. We got to wrap this up. By the way, at the end of the show, you got to do the salt ice challenge. Don't puke on me. Dave and Maria, back to you.
All I can say is, poor Antonio. That looked like it hurt.
I don't envy him at all.
I definitely think we've got the best gig out of the 5.
I don't mind sitting here watching them humiliate themselves. Yeah.
I'm on board. 3 players still remain here. Blinds now 20,000, 40,000. Button in front of our good friend Michael Reno. Queen 5. He's not going to play it.
I talked to him.
Okay.
Daly looks
I'm gonna
at
go
Jack
ahead and make it
7 offsuit.
92, I guess. That's my magic number.
I guess I got to.
He's gonna raise it up here.
If he makes it 92 every time.
I call 92.
Daly, by the way, Phil
That's all
Hellmuth's
he has,
pick.
you know?
Speaking of Phil Hellmuth, by the way, he is the subject of our fame or shame section. This is where we look at the characters of our show, both players and hosts, as well as mainstream poker world, and we decide whether or not we should fame them or shame them.
I really like this segment, honestly. I'm always looking forward to it.
Hey, we get to sit here in our comfy little seats and judge other people.
In our thrones, looking down on the little people.
I like it. So let's take a look at Phil's shoes. Yeah, I'm not one to judge shoes. People see the way I'm dressed. And I'm probably not the best to judge somebody else's attire, but...
You know, I have such mixed feelings about this. It's like, at first glance, it's a little jarring. It's a little gaudy, but I don't know. Weirdly enough, I didn't think I would say this. I think Phil is kind of rocking it. He's kind of pulling it off.
In all fairness, it's one of those items of clothing that you need to have a lot of confidence. And you said it's gaudy, it's jarring, but isn't that Phil Hellmuth?
Yeah, I mean, and listen, you have to own it, and I think Phil Hellmuth is the perfect person to wear this pair of shoes.
Yeah, he definitely owns it. He owns everything. Anyway, so are we...
Fame it.
Fame it. Good job, Phil. Let's get back to the game. We pick up the action on the flop, and it looks like we have an open-ended straight draw for Bartek and a pair of 7s for Daly.
And I think Daly plans to check call this turn. I think he realizes that, you know, if he bets, not a lot of good things could happen. He could get raised. He doesn't want to play a huge pot with middle pair out of position. He is pretty happy in this spot just to call here and hope to show down fairly cheaply on the river.
The pot is 872,000. Will Bartek fire that third bullet if he misses? And he certainly has missed.
The problem here is that there aren't a lot of hands that Bartek could rep that he would bet this river. You know, a lot of weak aces he might check. If he had ace-king, he would have 3-bet pre coming in, but he only just called Daly's raise pre.
I was 7.
And sure enough, Bartek checks it back. And Daly's going to win it with a pair of 7s.
Nice hand.
And these two guys, a ton of chips. And you wonder if this is setting the tone for what will happen later on.
That's a goose guy, yeah.
We're going to take a short break. Back after this. Closed captioning is brought to you as a public service by the Final Table.
You got over 100.
Yeah, I got,
and he's got like 8.
4.5. I got 110, 120.
What do you got, 3 mil? Yeah. Well, you got like 70 bigs.
Yeah, these guys are deep. They're talking about how deep they are relative to the blinds. Bartek has over 100 big blinds, Daly with about 70 big blinds, and considering they're three-handed at a final table, that is very deep.
They definitely have plenty of play, and as long as nobody gets really coolered, we should expect to see a lot of pots go to the river.
Chips down there too.
Whoa, bonus.
Raise here on the button from Reno. Now we've seen Reno already fold the button a couple of times, so his raises on the button three-handed probably get a little bit more credit.
How do I not?
Yeah, definitely. He's shown that he's not, you know, opening and taking every single spot. But, you know, Daly looks at Queen 4 suited, decides that's good enough to call from the small blind, and Bartek does the same here with King 7 from the big.
You know, I thought it was interesting for a second that Reno was kind of sitting by himself until I looked at his bio, and I found out that he's a hot dog eater, and he currently has hot dog breath, which explains the configuration of these players on the table.
Do you think hot dog breath is worse than coffee breath?
How old is the coffee breath? I mean, how long ago did I have this coffee?
Like 6 hours ago.
And how long ago did I have the hot dog?
Same time.
I think coffee is going to linger and smell worse the longer it sits in your mouth, while I think hot dog is right out of the gate. It's the worst. And then it actually will dissipate. So 6 hours later, coffee breath is worse. 6 minutes later, hot dog breath.
Can I tell you now that you have coffee breath, or?
I didn't even have coffee, okay?
All right, looks like they've been checking through the flop here, and now on the turn, Reno is going to finally fire. I'm kind of surprised he didn't just decide to fire on the flop after he did raise the button, but delayed C-bet's going to work here.
I don't even drink coffee. I had a venti latte, chai latte with coconut milk this morning, okay? Missy?
Yeah, you guys
Just
picked the wrong
saying.
one.
You could, have some mints at the ready here when we have to work together all day.
What do you have? 2 yellows?
I don't like. That's why I don't want them. That's why I don't want them.
Well, I'll give you pinks for them.
I like how relaxed everybody seems at this final table. A couple of them drinking beers.
I have a lot of pinks.
Just the way that they're sitting, it's like, hey,
you don't want me,
just
Seth.
playing for a
I got 2.
six-figure
How you
top
do with 2?
prize.
I don't know.
No big
Put him
deal.
as a big line. That's
I mean, if you were
all.
playing against a guy like Justin Daly, who's just, casually, his legs are out, he's drinking the beer, would you think that this is a guy who's experienced? He's been there before.
Yeah, I actually think that judging by how comfortable everybody seems, I would be intimidated to almost play against people that are this comfortable in what should be kind of a high-pressure situation.
I can't call it.
Give me those yellows.
Give him.
I call.
Daly raises, Reno calls.
He wants more yellows.
What's going on all of a sudden? What is going on?
I check.
Reno's gonna check in the dark here. I don't know. I've never been a fan of the check in the dark
See
thing.
what the flop may bring.
You just take away some of your options. I think on certain board textures, you might want to lead out. So might as well give yourself that opportunity.
Reno, paired is 5 on the flop, but Daly takes the lead on the turn with a pair of 7s.
113.
I imagine there are scenarios where you're never leading out, but even in those scenarios, I don't want my opponent knowing that.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, I'm so self-conscious right now. I just feel like I'm got this bad breath.
Well, you don't actually have bad breath, but you were just sitting awfully close to me, and I wanted to make you have a reason to kind of just scoot back a little bit.
Yeah, I can
Back up.
understand that. If I had a dime for every girl that told me that,
Yet somehow you got one of them to marry you. It's a numbers game.
shocking.
Dino was already here at lunch.
Check's good.
Deuce of diamonds on the river. Daly's going to win this with a pair of 7s. The remaining 3 players all guaranteed just under $41,000. Maria, that's going to do it for us. I'd say it was a pleasure, but I'd be lying.
I have been pretty mean to you today, so I'm
My
going
man.
to say sorry.
Really?
No.
I told him he didn't want those yellows. He should have
We've got to go to break, but when we come back, Joe and the boys, they'll wrap things up.
Well, we are just about out of time for this episode of the Final Table, but we do have one thing left to do, and that is the Salt Ice Challenge, and Antonio Esfandiari has to endure it for 1 minute. We've got salt, we've got ice, and we've got what's soon to be Antonio's former left arm.
This is going to leave a bruise for 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, easy on that Salt Tiger.
I don't know if I can even hold this for a minute. You may be in luck. And go. My little fingies hurt.
If you need some help, I can help.
It's melting very quickly. It is dripping. What do you want?
It's so cold that it actually feels hot. It almost feels like my hand is on fire. Holy
It's
crap.
burning. It's burning.
Oh, this is cold.
What do we got? 30 seconds left?
No, longer.
40 seconds left. Oh man, sorry, slow rolled you there.
It's all right. It hurts, but it's manageable.
I think it's hurting my hand more. My hand's cramping up.
I think Phil would have a much tougher time with this.
There we go. We are 27 seconds left.
It's numbing though, right? You feel numb,
Yes,
right?
it feels hot.
I mean,
It
there's
doesn't even feel cold. It feels like my arm is on fire.
There's a place down the street you can pay to have this done for like $70. They freeze your whole body. I guess now's a good time to wrap up the show now that Antonio's got 10 seconds left. 3 players remain in the tournament. 2 of us still here in the booth. Tune in next week to see who's going to ruin their Atkins diet by having to eat a bunch more saltine crackers. Antonio, you did it. You turned blue.
Oh my God, that's going to leave a bruise for weeks, folks. Weeks.
Until next time, for Phil Hellmuth Jr. and Antonio Esfandiari, I am Joe Stapleton. Smell you later.
Manned up, Antonio. You manned up and did it.
Right over the last line every time. Just